Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So today we are going to do a review of the WZ-120-1 GFT. It is a tank destroyer that is actually, I think it's still for sale in the premium shop. You can get your hands on it. Well worth every penny. This is definitely one of the better tank destroyers that have come out recently. Got a wicked gun, hits for a good amount of damage, and you can actually take some licks in this thing. It's got some decent armor, not the thickest, but it's got decent slope, so you'll get some bounces and you're gonna be like, wow, cool. But anyways, let's go over this monster and see what we think about it. So the gun on this thing is really nice. 6.12 rounds a minute, 248 standard pen for AP, 310, and that's telling you it's heat, which blah. The HE is actually not bad at 61 penetration. Not the highest, but definitely not the lowest. 440 average damage for your standard and your premium, and 530 for your HE. Average damage per minute is 2694. Dispersion is 0.37, and aim time is 2.9 seconds. So it's got kind of a lengthy aim time, and the dispersion is not the best in the world. I went with a gun rammer, gun lane drive, and nods to be able to reach out and touch someone. I always like to spot them before they spot me, because I can nail them once, and by the time they might spot me, I'm usually reloaded by then, and I can put another shell into them. So I'll have whittled 800-900 health off them, and so more than likely they'll have to turn tail and run. The armor on this is actually not too shabby. Well, actually, we'll go through this stuff here real quick. So you're ready to fire with a halfway. I got Brothers in Arms on this, so it's really going to help all my stats in it. My average, my rate of fire is 7.26 rounds a minute. Gun traverse is 28, and the hull traverse is 44.8. So if it's down to you and one or two tanks, you got to be careful not to get circle strafed. It does spin okay, but you get a 1390 or a bat chat or something like that, they're going to be able to swing around, especially if they pop your track off. So it gets down to you and one or two other people. You want to definitely be kind of near a building or a rock, hill, house, something you can back up against so they can't keep spinning around you. Gun depression is -6, which really isn't the best in the world, and plus 15. Your gun traverse limits is 10 to the left, 10 to the right, which I wish it were 15, but 10 is doable. It's still a lot better than some of them that are out there. I mean, I've seen just one recently. It's got 3 for left and right, which is really sad. Aim time with mine is 2.47, and like I said, I've got Brothers in Arms, so that's going to help out quite a bit. And my dispersion is 0.35. My average damage per minute is 3,193. You get 1,100 hit points, so for tier 8, it's tied up there with the Cannon Dassault 105 and a couple other tank destroyers for being the lowest hit points. I can't remember. There's the Cannon Dassault 105 and there's a couple more. But anyways, so you got 120 millimeters of frontal armor, which with that slope really makes the effective armor a lot thicker. And you got a track plate right here, so it's going to act as a little bit of spaced armor. Your lower plate is pretty well sloped, but straight on. They're going to put them through your lower plate, so you really want to try hiding that lower plate. I got a replay that we're going to watch from a buddy of mine, Charlie, and he sent it to me, and I reviewed it. It was pretty impressive. He did a real good job, and you'll be able to see how well the armor holds up. Now, a couple of the tanks that he was getting hit from were tier 7s, I think. It was a PZS something or other 4, PZ4S or something like that. It was a tier 7, and he bounced off the front of him a couple times. Then he loaded premium and started going through him. He bounced a couple other rounds too. The side armor is 80, so pretty good for side scraping, but with 10 degrees of gun traverse, you're going to have to really be careful that you don't put too much of your front out there. If you do, it's still a pretty good angle, so if they hit you up in this area, they'll probably just knock your track off. So you're able to come around a building, squeeze off a shot real quick and just back up. And you got 45 in the rear, so not super thin. If you hit with an HE shell, they're not going to do like 100% damage. Weight limit is 36.55 tons, so it's kind of about the weight of a medium tank. So you don't want to go smacking into a E100 or something. It's going to really hurt you and not them too bad. 580 horsepower engine. Specific bar to weight's 15.87, so pretty good. It's got some good takeoff. 50 kph top speed in forward and 20 in reverse. I love it when they give you that 20 in reverse, so you can get yourself out of a sticky situation real quick. And 50 in forward is nothing to scoff at. There's a lot of mediums that don't even go that fast, so it's got medium tank speed, so it's pretty nice. Concealment is 29.22, and I've got a concealment on 2 of my crew members, plus obviously the camo on the tank, so that's going to help out. My view range is 488, and that's because I used nods, and signal range is 613. Yeah, this is definitely a tank destroyer I enjoy playing. I've only got 4 matches in it, but I've got a 75% win rate, and my average damage is 2255 for the 4 matches that I had. So you can do some pretty good damage in this thing, and the gun is it's a kind of hella hit. I mean, you hit somebody with that, they're definitely going to know it, especially if they're a tier 7. Hell, you hit them one time, you just took off 3/4 of their health. Tier 8, you took off 1/4 of their health. So even 9s and 10s you hit for 440. That's a nice chunk of damage to hit on somebody. But you're definitely going to want to play it in the rear. You don't want to be up front, gallivanting, or you'll be back into your garage, wiping it off and replacing the track. But yeah, you're going to hold on for a minute. I'll have some gameplay for you, and I'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, got a review of the WZ-120-1 FT. I call it the fake tank. Do I understand these tanks never really did exist? Basically, toilet paper, drawings, and napkins, and so on and so forth to do this tech tree. It is good. It's got a wicked gun. Yeah, 248 standard pen for your AP. You get heat, which sucks, but 310 you pretty much can go through anything. And then you get HE, which has 60. Actually, 61 pen isn't really bad for an HE shell. But the nice thing about this, I'm gonna pause it real quick, is out of a bush, the sloping on the front. It's got wicked sloping. So between the frontal armor that you have and that slope, a lot of times you'll get some bounces on this, and you'll be like, "Holy crap!" I mean, you'll get occasional bounces off tier 9s and 10s. I wouldn't count on them, but it can happen. Now, this is an all tier 8 match. Couldn't ask for a better matchup for this. Oh, and by the way, this is a replay a buddy sent me, a good friend of mine, and he uses auto aim a lot, so don't be surprised if you see him using auto aim. And also, there's a few times, and I'll tell you straight up, it's not a aimbot or anything. It's a glitch in the replay. I've had it happen before, because it's a different reticle and stuff than what he has. So like, you'll see him being the auto lock in the external view like that, and the reticle will be like aimed over here, and he'll shoot and it'll hit the tank over here when the gun's actually aimed over there. So don't be surprised if you see some goofy things like that. It's just a replay bug, nothing that he did. I've had it happen several times. First time I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, this dude's cheating. Not Charlie here, but a different guy. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's like blatantly cheating. And then I'm watching, and I'm like, oh no, that's got to be a replay bug. And then I googled it, and sure as shit, it said it was a replay bug. If you have such and such aiming reticle and whatnot, the problem you run into is the standard aiming reticle doesn't match up with the one that a lot of people use when you use a mod pack, so it can like screw stuff up, because like right now you can see he's aiming over there. I mean, there's really, I could probably just leave it like this. He's typing right there. I was gonna say he has a wicked ass game here. I mean, he has a really good game. I was actually pretty impressed with it, because normally when you're in a tank destroyer that has no turret and it's down to you versus 3 or 4, usually you bend over and get it right up here in the exhaust pipe because normally they come at you all at once and circle strafe you, and there's really not much you can do other than take it, you know, which really sucks. A lot of times when I'm in a tank destroyer that's has no turret, if it gets down to me versus, you know, more than one, a lot of times I will try and find a rock, a house, or, you know, stay kind of back here so I can back up against the red line there. But his team kind of melts pretty quick. He ends up getting 8 or 9 kills, I think it was. I can't remember the exact amount. I was very surprised that that one actually bounced. Yeah, that KV2 like has no armor. Yeah, so for 248 penetration to bounce out of KV2, that must have been one funkadelic angle. But he takes him out, and this is the one I was telling you about. See, you can see my reticle over here, but he's aiming here. And if you look at the tank, you can actually see that his gun is facing the KV3. But for some reason, this replay bug, it like locks in a different area of the screen, so it looks like he's aiming over here and shooting here, but he's actually aiming and shooting in the same spot. So I didn't want you guys to, because I know you guys see things and I'll have messages going, "Oh, that dude was cheating, man. That was an aimbot. What a cheating son of a bitch. I can't believe you did that replay. He's a cheating fucker." You know, I see it does it again right here. It keeps doing it, or actually does it a couple times. But believe me, it's not an aimbot. He's not cheating. It is definitely a replay bug. So, and you'll see it a couple times. But you'll see also he likes going into the third person view here. Personally, I only go to that view if I'm in a light tank and I do an auto lock on somebody and I'm circle strafing them. And I asked him, I'm like, "Hey, Charlie, why did you use that third person view so much?" And he said, "Because you know, when I'm in a tank destroyer, you know, it's easier for me to be in," which it makes sense, in this view, lock on somebody, you know, do an auto lock on somebody, and then you can look around and kind of keep an eye on what's going on, especially when it's down to you know, you versus you know, 5, 4, 3, whatever, you know, amount of tanks. Takes him out, and then he kind of moves over here to the left because he's got a whole group of stuff coming in over this way. Not looking good for his team at all whatsoever. Like that shot right there, I would have kept it in the first person, this view right here, you know, the sniper view, and that way I could have aimed at his lower plate. He did an auto lock, and unfortunately, where it locked on, when you do an auto lock, it goes for, you know, basically dead center of the vehicle. And at that angle, what happened was, I think it hit the turret of the tank he was aiming at. I think it was the P-43ER, but, or no, it had to be in a T-29, because I was like, wait a minute, the turret, I remember seeing it just now, and it was, yeah, there's a T-29 over there. I'm like, I think it was a T-29 turret I saw. But yeah, so what he had said to me about using his auto aim makes sense, you know, when you get a lot of tanks, because it's down to him and artillery and was it a KV or an ELC? Not much help there. But the mistake the artillery made there was he should have backed off, not came forward. You know, back off, get some distance, and you'd be able to, you know, get your gun, the arc, so you could have hit that T-29. He started coming forward. Somebody's actually shooting HE at Charlie here. I'm not sure. Now the T-29, I would have loaded an HE shell for him. That way you're pretty much guaranteed, because it's got 61 pen. That's pretty damn good for an HE shell. T-29's got 17 hit points. So basically, even if you hit him in the turret, he still would have finished him off. He's going to do at least 30 damage, 20 damage if you hit him in the turret. And like right there, I definitely would have stopped and taken my time and aimed to finish him off. But I can imagine he's up to 6 kills. It's him versus 3. You got a Type 62 that can just circle straight the shit out of you. You got a T29 that's going to knock 300 and 330 average damage, or 350 average damage. And somewhere you have a desktop. No, I always forget that gosh damn window screen's on, or window key is on. I got to turn it off. A PZ4S, which PZ4S is going to have a hell of a time penning the front of this unless he starts slinging gold rounds at him. But yeah, I can definitely see staying in the third-person view, so you can keep an eye on, you got 2 tanks in front of you, and one of them's going to sneak up somewhere. He's going to come that way. And it was the Type 62, no, I'm sorry, the T29 that was flinging HE at him. I don't know why a T29 would have been flinging HE at him. If I'd have been in a T29, I'd have been shooting either AP or APCR. AP would have definitely gone, 198 pen. Yeah, it probably went through the front of this. Iffy, gold round or premium round definitely would have gone through the front of this. But so he's got his eye on 2 tanks. T29's a one-shot for him. The Type 62, that's 3. Oh, 440 average damage. Boy, if he gets a high roll, he could actually finish that Type 62 off in one shot. But that PZ4S is somewhere, and he's down to 429 hit points. So basically 2 shots, one from the Type T29 and one from the Type 62, and he could be finished. So I can see trying to take a quick shot at that T29, because his heart rate's probably going a million miles a minute. The sweat's probably just pouring off his palms. You got that excitement and the adrenaline's just flowing because it's you versus 3, and you're getting down there on health, a lot going on. So you're gonna make mistakes. I make them all the time when shit like this happens, and sometimes it's cost me a game, unfortunately. But he's got an auto lock on there, and he gets a super shitty low roll at 396. Type 62 hits him with a heat round for 163, and he gets a nice. He must have had an auto lock. I don't know if he had an auto lock on there. I think he had it auto locked, but it worked. And that's the bottom line. It worked. He did a good thing here. He was getting drawn the T29 in, so that the T29 basically has to come over and expose his front lower plate, because you're not going to pen the front of that turret unless, now, like I said, I would have loaded an HE shell, and that T29 is doing him a favor by hitting him with HE, because he's knocking off 32 health. But he takes his time, he's backing up, aiming, takes him out. So I definitely would have loaded an HE shell on that one there. He does an auto lock on the PZ4, and the PZ4 hit him a couple times. You can see the PZ4 shooting standard rounds and bouncing. And boy, the aim time on that thing really must be kind of a little slow. Now the PZ4 has loaded gold rounds, premium rounds. He's bounced his first one. 278 hit points in Charlie's Tank Destroyer, and the PZ4 is going to have to pen him at least 2, maybe 3 times to finish. At least 2 times. Yeah, 2 times. So he gets him one. He's down to 143, and yep, lo and behold, he would have actually, unless he got a super high roll, would have had to hit Charlie 3 times, because that hit him for 135, left him with 143. So if he would have got another 135 roll, it would have left him with about 13 hit points. But he would have had to hit him a 3rd time. So, but the PZ4S's reload is like 4 seconds, or 3 or 4, at the most 5 seconds. So yeah, good play on Charlie's part here. He ended up getting 9 kills. He did say something to his team at the beginning of the match, and I love when people do this. He's got XVM installed on his computer. He could see who the Super Unicom was on the enemy team. I think it was the M4190 GF, the Hyper, whatever the hell it is. But the guy's like a Super Unicom, and Charlie said to the team, hey, we need to take him out first, get rid of him, you know, because obviously that's their Super Unicom. He's going to be their best player. We need to get rid of him first. His team was kind of assholes about it. Personally, I think when somebody does something like that, I thank him, hey, thanks for letting me know. I didn't notice that. Most of the time I notice things like that, but if I didn't, it's always nice that somebody else is looking that has XVM on installed on their computer, because, you know, you can hit tab and see. Actually, is it all? Control. No, it's got to be... Oh, yeah, it's got to be in the game or something. I think it's got to be in before the match. Yeah, it's before the match starts. You hit tab or alt or something, you can see who's got it installed. Be a little X by their name. But I always love when somebody says, hey, so-and-so's their Super Unicom or their Unicom, or you got a platoon of, you know, these tanks or something. So if I'm not paying 100% attention to what's going on, I might not have noticed that, and then I'll be like, oh, shit, yeah, he's right, cool. So I'll know who to go after first. But, yeah, so I do not have the post-game stats for this, but shows he did 4,114 damage, but he did actually over that. I believe he did almost 6,000. I think it was like 6,000 damage or 6,500 damage, because he had several blind shots when he did his auto locks there. But, yeah, they definitely worked, because almost all his blind shots penetrated for a good amount of damage. And he ended up getting 9 kills. So he missed the Radley's Walther by 1 kill. That always sucks. But, you know, he got a Top Gun and a Master. He got an Ace Tanker on that. Plethora of, you know, awards and medals and stuff. So kudos to him. That was a damn good match. And he offered it up to me. And I have not done a review or a replay on this. So I thought, shit, hell yeah, that's a awesome way to kind of show this tank destroyer and what it's capable of. So yeah, this thing in the right hands it's a mean machine. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.